Okay, I recorded a video because there are no Zoom lessons at the moment. So this PowerPoint is also on the Google Classroom, but I'm going to talk you through it now, which hopefully should help a little bit. We're going to learn how to factorize a quadratic expression. We're going to have to find factors of positive or negative numbers, find the sum of two numbers giving another number positive and negative. That will make a bit more sense in a minute. We'll rewrite a quadratic expression as a bracket. I probably used a lot of words there you're not familiar with. So let's make sure that we understand these as we go. A term, we should be okay with that. That's a number, a letter, a combination of a number and a letter, and several of them together makes an expression. Factorize is where we're taking an expression and removing or dividing by a common factor to put some brackets in. Solve is where we're looking for an answer to an unknown. Expand is where we've got a bracket or several brackets and we multiply them together to get rid of the brackets. Quadratic, and here we're looking at an expression which has a squared term in it. So what we'll be looking at primarily or mostly is x squared, but it doesn't need to be x, it could be anything. Okay, here we have a double bracket, and we did a little bit of multiplying out double brackets last week, and you all know that if we expand that, we get this here. Now this is what we call a quadratic. It's a quadratic because we have an x squared term there. Okay, that's the important thing to note. X squared means it's a quadratic. If it's x cubed, it's no longer a quadratic, it's a cubic. If it's just x, it's not a quadratic. Okay. And if we want to go the other way, take the quadratic expression and turn it into two brackets, we factorize. Okay, and as you can see, there's not obviously anything here which is a common factor. You could say there's a common factor of x between the first two terms, but that's about as far as it goes. So we have a method to do this, and I'll talk you through it. First off, we're going to have a look at this. So let me explain what's gone on here. I want two numbers that when I add them together, the sum of them is equal to 6. And when I multiply them together, the product is equal to 8. So my two numbers are 2 and 4. If I add them together, it gives me 6. And if I multiply them, times them together, it gives me 8. Okay. Here I've started my next one. Sum is 7 and the product is 12. I've given you the first number 3. So if we think about this, 3 plus something is 7, so that'll be a 4, and 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, now when you're working these out, the best place to start is to start with the 12 in this case. What numbers can I multiply together to give me 12? And I think through those and see whether any of them add up to 7. For example, I could think of 1 and 12. If I add those together, it'll make 13. I don't want 13, I want 7. If I think of 2 and 6, if I add those together, that will give me 8. I don't want 8, I want 7. So my next choice would be 3 and 4. 3 and 4, if I add them together, it will give me 7. Okay, pause the video. So there's the 4. Pause the video and try these 4 questions here, and then restart it to see their answers. So pause the video now. Okay, welcome back. And you should hopefully have worked through these. You'd have got 5 and 6 for that one, 2 and 2 for that one, 7 and 1 for that one, and 6 and 4 for that one. The order of these doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter which way round they are. Okay, so what we've done there is we've basically taken a number and we've found numbers that you multiply together to give that number, and then we've looked at the sum of those two numbers. Okay, here's our first example. If I'm asked to factorize this, I want two numbers that will multiply together to give me 10, and when I add them together, it will give me 7. So what I start off by looking at is the factors of 10, the numbers that go exactly into 10. So the factors of 10 are 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. Okay. Nothing else goes exactly into 10. And then what I want to do then is add the factors together. So add the 1 and 10 together and add the 2 and 5 together. And what I'm hoping to get is 7. Add the factors. 1 and 10 is 11. That's no good. I want 7. But if I add 2 and 5, I get 7. Therefore, I have found the two factors that I need. The two factors I'm interested in is the 2 and 5, because when they're added together, they give me 7. So I have now almost all I need for my solution. And here it is, x plus 2 and x plus 5, the 2 and the 5. If I multiply 2 and 5 together, I'll get 10. If I add them together, I'll get 7. Okay, that's my answer. I could write it the other way around. I could say x plus 5, x plus 2. And to be honest, I could even write it as 2 plus x and 5 plus x. But convention says we normally start with the x. Okay, what I want you to do now is have a look at this one on the right. I want you to pause the video, have a go at it, and then restart the video in a moment. So pause the video now. Okay, what you should have done, I hope, is worked out all the factors of 15. In other words, the numbers that go into 15. So 1 and 15, 3 and 5. And then what you should have done next is added them together to see what you get. We're obviously looking for 8. 1 and 15 gives me 16. That's no good to me, but 3 and 5 give me 8. So I have found the two factors I need, the 3 and 5. So I just put them in two brackets, x plus 3, x plus 5. And if we were to multiply that out, we would end up with this expression here. Okay. Right. Here are two more. I'll work through this first one quite quickly, and then I want you to have a go at the other one. So if we work through this, 1 and 10 gives me 10, and 2 and 5. Same as before. This time, however, we want 11. Now 1 plus 10 is 11, 2 plus 5 is 7. So this time I'm looking at these two factors here, the 1 and 10. So here we go. Here's my final thing, x plus 1, x plus 10. Okay, see if you can do that with this one on the right. Pause the video and have a go. Pause the video now. Okay, once you've restarted, you should get 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. When you add them together, you'll get 16 and you'll get 8. So we can immediately see that these are the pair we want, the 1 and 15, because they're the ones that give me 16. So my answer is 1 and 15. Okay, we've made good progress so far. So have a bit of practice. Here are 4 questions for you to have a go at. Look for numbers that multiply together to give you 24. And you should get quite a long list of those. And then you want pairs of factors that will give you 25, 14, 11, and 10. Pause the video now, have a go. Okay, having worked through those, you should have got these answers here. X plus 1, x plus 24, that gives me 25. X plus 2, x plus 12, that gives me 14. X plus 3, x plus 8, that gives me 11. And finally, x plus 4, x plus 6 gives me 10. And you'll notice that if you multiply all of these numbers here together, everyone, you'll get 24. Okay, well done. Now, let's have a look at some more. There's more practice here. Again, this time we're looking at 36. So start off by listing all the factors of 36. I would advise listing them in pairs, and then you could just looking for ones that you can add together. So pause the video now. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to do these, and these are the answers you should get. And again, very similar to before, it's just a little bit more practice for you. Okay, right. At the moment, we have only dealt with positive numbers and positive coefficients of x and so on. We do need to consider negative ones because unfortunately that will happen. If we have a look at this first one, we've got plus 3 and we've got negative 10. So we want the factors, the numbers that we can multiply together to give me negative 10. So the factors of negative 10 are 1 and negative 10, or 2 and negative 5. Now it's as well to point out that they are not the only ones, because if I multiply 1 and negative 10, I will get negative 10. However, if I multiply negative 1 and 10, I will also get negative 10. And likewise with this, negative 2 times negative 5 will also give me negative 10. So it seems like there's a little bit more work to do here. And there is, because we've got that negative sign. However, what I do know is that I can cut my work down a little bit, because this number here, the coefficient of x, is positive. Therefore, I am interested in the pair of factors where the larger number is positive. In other words, I'm looking at one of these two. And which one of these two gives me 3? Well, negative 1 plus 10 is going to give me 9. That's no good. But negative 2 plus 5, or 5 take away 2, whichever way you look at it, is going to give me 3. So I've got my answer, those two there. So I now know it's negative 2 and 5. I write my bracket out, x minus 2 and x plus 5. And you do need to get the negative sign in the right place. It's got to be x take away 2 and it's got to be x plus 5. Otherwise, you won't get that. Okay, there's one to do on the right here. Take your time with it. Look at this example and see how you get on. Pause the video now. Okay, as you come back, you should have hopefully listed your factors out and got something like what I've got here. 1 and minus 14, minus 1 and 14, and then 2 and minus 7, and minus 2 and 7. We want 5, so if we have a look at this, if we add them all together, we find that these two again are going to give me 5. So negative 2 and 7 is going to give me 5, so I put them in my brackets, x minus 2, x plus 7. Okay? That's having a negative number at the end of my quadratic expression. So it's not one of the coefficients of x or x squared, it's just the number at the end. We do have another situation where we can have this sign as negative. So we need to do the same again. Now, we need to be careful here because it looks to start with as if the two numbers I'm looking to multiply together to give me 10 will be both positive. But because this is negative, that tells us that actually they're not going to be positive. It's not going to be these two. It's going to have to be these two to give me a negative coefficient of x. Okay, so immediately I know I'm looking at these two pairs here. And if we find the sum of them, I have included the sum of the others here, but just to show you that we must be looking at negative 2 plus negative 5. And that's going to give me negative 7. So those are the pair that I want. And so I write out my two brackets like that. Negative 2 and negative 5. Multiplying negative 2 and negative 5 together gives me 10, positive 10. But if I add them together, the sum is negative 7. Okay, there's one here on the right for you to try. So as usual, pause the video now. Okay, as you rejoin, hopefully you've listed your factors out. You may not have bothered with the positive ones because actually there's no need for those, is there really? This is the negative ones we're going to be interested in. And then looking at the difference, hopefully you can see quite quickly that we're looking at these pairs here. The negative 8 is given by negative 3 and negative 5. And we end up with this here, x minus 3 and x minus 5. Okay. Here you have some to try. Be careful of this second one. They're both negative there. So that means the signs must be different. This one here, both negative. The two signs must be different. These, in fact, in all of these, the two signs will be different because it's negative 24. So you don't want any factors where both of them are positive or both of them are negative. Okay, pause the video now and I'll give you some answers in a moment. Okay, you should have got this set of answers like this, and as you'll notice, as I said, one's positive and the other's negative for all of these. Okay, just check through your answers, check you've got them right. Okay, here are some more to do, and again we've got a complete mixture here of pretty much all the different combinations you can have, and you'll notice all of these, the final number in the quadratic expression is 24. So it's kind of looking at all the possible variations of positive and negative numbers you can have. And if you can do these, then you're well on the way to be able to factorize a quadratic expression. Notice that we haven't got a coefficient of x squared in all of these. We've just got x squared. We haven't got a number in front of there. So when we put a number in front of there, it does change things quite significantly. But for the time being, we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so pause the video, have a go. Okay, as you rejoin, there are some answers. And as you all see, there's a whole variety of positive and negative values thrown in there. And it does really show that you need to pay real attention to what's going on in terms of positive and negative values. Take great care with that. Okay, this leads me to the final slide, and I've sort of dimmed out the ones where we've got a coefficient of x squared, and also there's a couple down the bottom here which we will look at a later lesson, but these ones at the top you should be able to do all the ones at the top. If you pause the video and have a go at these, and then I'm going to put the answers on in a moment. Okay, so those are the questions and here are the answers. Okay, as I said, this PowerPoint is on the Google Classroom, so you can see it there. If you're watching this, you're already at the Google Classroom anyway. And there is a task on Hecate Maths that I would like you to go away and have a go at. We'll re-watch the video as many times as you want, pause it, practice, and I'm hoping that you'll do really well on this. Thank you for your time. Take care.